Okay, you guys, today we are going to talk about organizing and planning. And this is a very fond topic for me because, there's sort of two parts. There's the organizing and planning as it pertains pretty well to keto healthy lifestyle. But there's also the organizing and planning to do with just lifestyle. And so when I did my motivational Monday post today, it kind of started off talking about clutter and stuff, and then I kind of got into keto. But honestly, I kind of think that it all goes together. And this is what I mean. I don't know if you guys feel like this, but when I have clutter in my home, clutter around me, it really stresses me out. And I don't mean that just from like my little OCD thing. I mean, it literally makes me feel anxious. Visually, I'm seeing crap piled up, and it makes me feel not on my game. You know what I mean? Like not as motivated, not as accomplished. I look at it, and even if I, don't notice it obviously in my subconscious, it's making me feel kind of stressed out, kind of anxious, kind of overwhelmed actually. So that was kind of part of what I want to talk about, was the visual part of what we see and how we have our homes. And I'm not saying like everything has to be absolutely perfect and absolutely spotless, but there's a difference between letting it all go and having a bunch of crap piled up and then having things kind of in an organized fashion, right? So there's that aspect. Then the other aspect is when we're organized and when we plan ahead, it really does help us to be more successful, like I said, mentally, but also more successful with our keto plan. And we were chatting about this in the group today, and so many people had great ideas. So I hope that anybody in here, I will say, if you have any great ideas for planning ahead and organizing, please pop it in here and I'll read it, because it's just so great that we can get these ideas from each other. But the people that take the time to plan ahead and organize their meals, know what they have for food and that kind of thing, tend to be more successful with their keto plan. I see this all the time. Many, many times at the end of the day, I'll see someone say, "Oh, I don't know what I'm having today," or "These are what's left of my macros." And that's kind of a joke that we play, is like the macro game, like what do I got left? And you look in the fridge and you say how many, how much protein you have left, and you kind of fill in the blanks or whatever. Everybody has a day like that once in a while, but generally speaking, planning ahead really makes a difference. There's some people that will look ahead and say, okay, it's Saturday and I'm looking ahead and this is what I'm going to make for my main meals throughout the week. And in order to have that, I need to do my grocery shopping on Saturday or Sunday and have all the ingredients or whatever. You can be that organized, or even just the morning of, right? The morning of, and you say, okay, this is what we're going to have for dinner. I've already got that organized. Maybe you pop it into your macro tracker or something like that. And so you've got it already set for the day so that you can kind of work around that. That is part of it. Let me go into the planning ahead. So there's a planning ahead at home, right? And thinking ahead about what you're going to have and looking ahead in your cupboard, what groceries you have and that kind of a thing. And that's where being really organized really helps. Like if you see something on sale in the flyer or whatever, or you're at the store and you see something's like a really good deal, in your mind what you already have at home. Like I already mentally know in my mind because I can see it. It's organized pretty nicely on my pantry shelves. And I know what's there. So I see something on sale. I'm like, oh yeah, you know what? I am going to buy 4 of those because I was kind of low, that kind of a thing. There's also being organized ahead of time when you're even just going out. So for example, I have little tricks that I have that I always keep in my purse. I call them my little trick purse. But anyways, it's things that I always keep in my purse. I talk about this all the time. I always have my MCT capsules. I always have them in my little container. And I always have, it's a safety pin. But I always have the safety pin in there. Why? Because when I want to open up, like if you want to melt this in just, something hot, that's fine. You can drop it in. But most of the time when I'm out, I will just pop the end of it and I will squeeze it on my salad. I'll take a couple of those and squeeze it on my salad, squeeze a lemon on, a little salt and pepper, and there's my dressing, because I don't trust the salad dressings in the restaurants. I don't care what they say is in it. They usually lie. But anyway, so I always keep these in my purse. If I get hungry, whatever, I always pop a few of these MCT capsules. So that's just like in my purse all the time. Also, something like these little stevia water drops. I've showed you these before. The brand, there's lots of brands out there. The Sweet Leaf is just the one I like because it's just stevia. There's no artificial anything in it. And the flavor is fantastic. So when I go out to a restaurant, I always ask for a big glass of ice water and I just put in a couple of squirts of that. And that's my drink. So planning ahead, always having these in my purse at the ready, right? So I'm constantly ready anytime I go out. But also, if you're going out, calling ahead to the restaurant, or honestly, better than that, just looking on the online menu is the easiest thing. I always have an idea of what the restaurant has before I go out. So I've already kind of mentally prepared. I might even add it into my tracker ahead of time if I'm doing that day. And that really helps. So that's part of kind of planning ahead and not just kind of winging it, right? Another way to plan ahead, and this also saves us a ton of money, is making more. Oh my gosh, I really like simple, easy recipes, but if I'm going to go to the trouble of making something, especially if it's a little more complicated, I always make double or triple. Really, it doesn't take very much effort, like hardly any more effort than you were already doing. Costs a little bit more for sure, but you think if you make that ahead and now you've got this leftover stuff, it's so nice when you're busy. And what I do is I actually measure it out. Like I'll just say, for example, spaghetti sauce, the way I make the spaghetti sauce, and I will actually measure it out, the amount that I would have in a container. And then I just take masking tape and I just put masking tape across the top. I always put the date, but I also put what it is. I put how many calories, how many servings, the macros. So if I was to eat that whole thing, that's my calories. Those are my macros. I know my protein, my fat, my carbs, or whatever. So when I pull that out sometime, I know exactly what it is and I can just enter it in my tracker. I can't tell you how many times that has saved me from just kind of going, whatever. And maybe I would have kind of blown it that day because I was kind of getting a little hungry and I maybe would have just kind of wung it, right? So that really, really helps. Another thing too, for those of you like me who live with people that are not keto, so when we're doing some kind of a meal that isn't all keto, so I'll just say, for example, like Thanksgiving dinner or something like that, okay? So I make things that are keto that work for me, but they're having like dressing and mashed potatoes and they're having all that kind of stuff that I'm just not going to have, right? There's always leftovers. So then what I do is I actually pack them up. I call them like TV dinners. So I have these containers that kind of have sections in them, and I'll do turkey with the gravy and the stuffing and the cranberries and whatever. I put all the stuff in there that would be a serving for a non-keto person, package it up, put the date on it, stick it in the freezer. And you know when I pull those out, or I tell them to pull it out? On my fasting days. On my fasting days, I tell them, hey, just pull out one of your TV dinners, right? So it's just easy for them to have something that they want. That makes things so much easier for me too. This is all about making my life easier. I'm just going to tell you that. I should have prefaced this whole thing by saying what makes it easier for me. Okay, so another thing that I do that I find really, really helpful is I just create my own meal replacements. Now, of course, I'm going to talk about my products, but you guys can do it in any way you want with any products that you want. But what I do is like pretty much for lunch every single day, I have one of my bone broth protein powders, which includes my bone broth powder, my collagen peptides, my MCT powder, let's move that over, and 2 cups of unsweetened almond milk. And then I also have a fatty coffee. Actually, I don't always put the powder in unless if I'm out, like if I'm out of the house, I will put the 3 powders in a cup and then I'll just take it with me. And chances are I'll probably just add water because I'm out and about. But if I'm at home, I'll do it the way I said with the almond milk because it's a bit richer. And I have like stevia sweetener, like French vanilla, stuff like that. I don't have one with me, but anyways, that's what I add to it. And that makes things so much easier. Like, it's just so easy to say, that's my lunch and my fatty coffee. And you know what? I know that when I add all that up together, first of all, it's incredibly nutrient dense. I'm getting a ton of collagen. I'm getting my protein. I'm getting my fat, and it's 400 calories. I know that my lunch every day is 400 calories. It's just, I used to kind of recreate the wheel all the time and come up with these lunches and stuff. And I'm like, you know what? No, because I really want to get these products in anyways, because they're just so good for my health. And so why not just have it for lunch? That's my lunch every day. In fact, even on my fasting days, I kind of do what they call like a modified fasting day. And I still have that as my lunch, even on my fasting day. So like every day, that's my lunch. And like I was telling you guys before, just this collagen is, oh, I got a little rooster tail up there, is just making my hair so thick. You could go back and look at some of the videos that I did, probably even like 4 to 6 months ago, and you will notice a big difference in my hair. And I actually just got it thinned out, but you can even see about right here, it's thicker than down here. And that's with it being thinned out. Like, I'm not kidding you. It is coming in fast and furious, but I love it. I love it. My skin is looking better. My nails are looking better. But anyways, it's important to me that I have these nutrient dense foods. I also want to make my day easier. And so that's what I have for my lunch every day. But however it is that you guys want to do it. Some people, what they like to do to plan ahead is they always have a salad in the fridge. They always have cooked meat, and they make the same type of salad every day because they want to make sure they get their greens in or whatever. I have my salad at dinner time on my eating days, but whatever works for you, do what's easier. I think what can kind of really stress you out is just trying to come up with new crap every day. Like, it's hard coming up with new stuff every day. But like I said, keeping in mind nutrient dense. We don't want to just fill up our body full of just like filler calories and filler macros and stuff, right? We want to really get in the nutrients. Okay, I want to go back and read what anyone has, if anyone has said anything about how you organize and plan to make life easier for you. Oh, net. It's a net, but I go by net. Okay, great. I'll try to remember a net, but at least I can go by net. It rhymes. That's cute. Okay, Ingrid says she decides in the morning what's for dinner. Absolutely perfect. That's awesome. That makes things easier. Sometimes I say to my husband, if I have it way planned ahead, I'll say, go to the freezer, grab meat. I don't care what meat, plunk it on the counter. I will create something lovely to go with that hunk of frozen meat. So at least it took the guessing out of what, it's going to be. At least he's planned what the meat is, and then I can come up with something. But generally speaking, I plan more ahead of that. And like I said, I fast usually Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays now. So I only have to come up with something great on, Tuesdays, Thursdays, Saturday, and Sundays. They're on their own. Like I said, they got TV dinners in the freezer that I've made up for them. They are more than self-sufficient that they can make their own stuff up. And then that gives me a few days off, but I don't have to cook. I like that. Okay, let me see. I am a planner and it works. Janet says, I'm a planner and it works great for me. Awesome. Ingrid said, frozen leftover portions are great. Kim, so happy hubby went keto now. Oh yeah, that makes your life a lot easier, doesn't it, Kim? That's fantastic. And so good for him too. And don't you find it's kind of fun, kind of coming up with things? Like, my family isn't keto. Okay, so I would say that my family, well, actually my son Jordan has kind of turned a little bit more keto, but they're all what I would say low carb. Okay, I don't know if I would even consider it low carb. They would call themselves low carb. I would say they're kind of but anyways, they're definitely not keto. Jordan more so than the rest, but we all really enjoy low carb options. And I just ketofy mine to make it more applicable to me. But when I'm making things ahead, like cauliflower, mashed potatoes, anything to do with the broccoli or Brussels sprouts or anything. Everyone loves them. I mean, there's not too much that I make that they don't like. It's more like they would just like some added, maybe they want some rice or potatoes or whatever, and that's fine. They can have those things. I don't even want those things. Let's see. Cheryl says, love, love, love your collagen. I've got about 2 inches of new hair growth. Oh, that's awesome. I have 2 non-keto friends that are ordering it. Oh, that's fantastic, Cheryl. Oh, thank you so much for saying that. And yes, I know we all talk about keto in here. And of course, it's so amazing when you're on keto because we definitely need that collagen and that protein. And we, tend to not have enough, right? Which can cause hair loss and thinning and stuff like that. But this is not just for keto people. This is for everybody. Everybody wants to have nicer skin, hair, nails, right? And also, just as a bonus, as we're getting older, it's super awesome for our joints and for our tendons and our soft tissues and all that kind of stuff. It's just, oh my gosh, honestly, I'm in love with it. Love, love, love. Okay. So anyways, I just want to see if I forgot anything else. Yeah. Okay. So that was kind of what I wanted to talk about. Now we can just chit chat, but I kind of feel like at some point I might want to do a little talk just on organizing and how amazing decluttering your life and organizing and cleaning and all that kind of stuff really makes a difference in your life. Because I mean, that can be a whole other one in itself. And I've talked to you guys many times about when I'm fasting, I always have a little project for myself to keep myself busy. Like tonight, I am going through my closet. I have been wanting to go through my closet for a long time, and spring is around the corner. And I want to go through and decide, what am I keeping? What still fits? What doesn't fit? Haven't worn it for a long time, all that kind of stuff, and get organized. And so I always pick a little organizing project on a fasting day. Number 1, it keeps me busy. Number 2, it's keeping my house nice and clean and organized and all that kind of stuff. And like I said, just having everything looking organized, and I know how much I have of what. I'm talking about food now. Looking around my home and it being aesthetically pleasing to me, it really does make me happy. I mean, like I said, I could do a whole talk just on that. But it really, really does. I don't know if you guys feel that way. Whatever your decorating style, whatever makes you happy, I think you can probably agree that when things are nicely organized and set up kind of the way you like it, you just naturally feel happier. You walk in the kitchen and you think, oh, I feel like making that healthy meal or whatever because everything's all nice and tidy. But when you see dishes are all piled up and containers are all over the place and a bunch of, I don't know, I'm not a big one for having things on my counter. I have one KitchenAid mixer because I think it's beautiful and it's in my corner, and I have my espresso coffee maker because obviously I use that all the time, and I have a toaster oven because I use that all the time too for little baking and stuff. But other than that, all my other appliances and stuff are all put away because I don't visually want to see all that clutter, and I don't use them all the time. And if I don't use them all the time, I'm happy to pull them out. If that means I have to bend down and carefully stand up and use my arms to put something on the counter, I count that as a workout. So honestly, I really am fine with putting everything away if that means that everything looks nice and aesthetically pleasing. But I noticed that nobody else is kind of agreeing with me. So now I'm starting to think, like, is this just a me thing, or does anyone else feel like this? Because I definitely feel more on my game when things are tidy and organized than when there's kind of crap laying all over the place. In fact, I could handle a little bit of dirty more than I can handle clutter, right? I don't mind if, I haven't dusted for a while or I haven't vacuumed for a while. I can live with that more than seeing crap all piled up all over the place, like whether it's my office, my kitchen, my bedroom, my workout area, whatever. I just don't function very well with those things. And like I said, when I'm fasting, I'm always looking for something to do anyway. So that's when I'm really running around like the Energizer Bunny and putting everything in their proper place and stuff. So, oh, good. Somebody agrees with me. Ingrid agrees agrees with me. Thank goodness. I thought I was like the only one here. Tammy, I've been doing major decluttering for the past months, almost done, and it's so freeing. Yes. Okay, there you said it. So welcome to the club. You know what? There's no shame in your game. So if it was a little cluttery before, but now it's not, and you can just feel the difference, right? It just makes you so happy when you see nice, clean areas. That's awesome. Net says, me too. I can't stand it when things start piling up, even picking up for my 3-year-old's toys. Yes, exactly. And you know what? I mean, you're teaching them at the same time. You're teaching your kids about putting things away and stuff. But let's face it, it's kind of for us too. And I look at anything like that is just, it's a way of moving our body. Have you guys heard of NEAT, N-E-A-T? Now, what does it stand for? Oh, gosh, I'm going to forget it. But I'm just going to say that NEAT stands for all the little tiny things that we do. So when we're moving our hands and we're talking like this and we're picking up our water and we're just picking up stuff, and it's amazing, but it actually like uses calories. Like when you're actually figuring out your calories and you go onto one of those calorie calculators, there is one called NEAT and there's one called like BMR, and they do different things, but NEAT really is all the little tiny things we do when we fidget and all that, and all those little things, picking up your kids' toys and taking an appliance out of a cupboard and putting it on a counter. It counts. It counts, actually. It really does. I've learned to embrace all the little things that I do. It's not just about getting in my cardio and, oh, did I walk for 30 minutes and did I get my weights in? It's about moving all day, all the time. Even underneath my desk, I have this roller, those rollers where if you lay on your back or on your side and it helps with your tight muscles and stuff. I have one of those under my desk and I have my feet on it. And as I'm working, I literally am just rolling my feet all day long. That's a little bit out of habit or whatever. I'm a fidgeter and I'm a hand talker. But when I do that, it sort of helps keep me balanced during the day because I'm focused on something that I'm working on, and rolling my feet like that really helps me. Some people, you know how they'll just sit there with a pencil on their desk or something like that. Anyways, I go off on tangents, but it counts. That's all I'm saying is for you people like me that aren't into like heavy duty exercise all the time, you kind of got to force yourself into it. It counts. So picking up your toys, cleaning up your kitchen, putting away clutter, doing a load of laundry, it counts. Okay. Kim, everything needs a place. And if not, it goes. Yes, absolutely. I totally feel the same way. I give a lot to Big Brothers and donate that to them. And then they can use that money for their organization. And it helps me to feel better that I didn't throw it in the trash. It's a win-win. Christina, I feel the same way. I organize my keto products in a basket so I can grab it out quickly to make your cocoa every morning. Oh, that's awesome. That's really great. That just reminds me, I have these baskets in I call it my pantry. I don't actually have a pantry. I have a laundry room, mud room, I guess if you call it, that's on the way to it's outside the kitchen, but it's on the way to the garage, but it's just right off the main floor. And I have baskets in there. And one is that just says keto. Everything keto snacky type stuff mostly I have in there. And I have like a little piece of paper and a little clip and it says keto, which is AKA for everybody else stay out because they don't deserve to eat those foods. Those foods are just for me. And then I have one for non-keto and one for crackers or something like that. I don't know, but just having them labeled and stuff. Yeah, that kind of thing makes me happy. So yeah, Christina gets it. She's got her stuff all ready for her cocoa every morning. Carmen says, I do love having my house clean. No clutter around makes me want to come home from work, smells so nice, and clean is so welcoming. Oh, isn't that nice? After a long, busy day and you come home and it's all fresh and turn on a few lamps and light your candle and that's awesome. Move your lymph, says Kim. Yes. So even just the cleaning or whatever, it's moving your lymph nodes and it's getting your blood moving or whatever. Anyways, we've kind of veered a little bit off, but the point is being organized in your home, knowing what you have as far as food goes and stuff like that it just makes everything easier, right? Planning ahead makes things easier. You're cooking something, make extra, freeze it. It makes things easier for the next time. Like I'm the kind of person that I don't ever like to run out of something. It actually makes me a little bit aggravated, I should say, if I run out of anything. So, for example, say I have avocado oil, which is my main oil of choice when I'm cooking. I always have two deep, like two sitting there on the shelf. And then I got the one I'm using. So when the one that I'm using runs out, I go to the cupboard, I know it's there. And when I take that one from the cupboard, I've got a little sticky on the side of my fridge that's an ongoing grocery list, and I right away write it down. If we ever run out of something here, it's not because of me. It's because somebody else didn't write it on the list. And I'm not going to name names, but suffice it to say, it really makes my life easier if everybody could just write that on the list, and then we will never be out. Yeah, that makes me really happy to never be out of my favorite things. If it's a non-keto thing or whatever and I don't care about it, whatever, I don't care. But if it's one of the things that I use all the time, yeah, it better darn well be on the list. And it better have two deep in the cupboard. Okay, so that's about it. Kim says, you taught me the best thing. If you fail to plan, you plan to fail. Well, I wish I could take credit for that one, but definitely somebody else came up with that term, Kim. But I do love that one because planning ahead really, really makes a difference. And you know what? I'll go so far as to say is even planning ahead with even what you're doing for your keto. Now, I know that sometimes things happen like just in life, and you can't always follow your plan. Going on vacation, you have a bit of a plan for your vacation, but let's face it, that's a little bit more of a wing. But I'm saying when you're at home and you don't have a ton going on, I mean, myself personally, I do like to look ahead. Like last week, we were tracking our macros. Those of us in the group that were doing it, we were tracking our macros, and I knew that I was doing that. And I had planned that I was going to do OMAD every day for 7 days. So I did do that. And now this week, my plan is that I'm fasting Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And then Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, and Sunday, I'm going to eat. So basically 3 36-hour fasts. I've already planned that. I knew ahead of time that that's what I'm going to do, right? The week after, as a group, we're doing our 3-day bone broth cleanse. I already know I'm going to do that. So what I mean is I kind of look ahead on my calendar and I kind of see what's going on with me personally, with us in the group. So I always like to participate in the group, whatever we're doing. And I work that out into my keto plan. Now, knowing ahead what I'm going to do makes it a lot easier for grocery shopping, for planning ahead, making bone broth, whatever. So I have a little calendar and I have my keto stuff in there, different things I'm working on. And I already know basically like into March already kind of what I'm doing for my keto plan. So I don't know if that's something that you guys like to do, but that really does help me too, knowing what I'm doing. And it really keeps me on track as well. I find winging it just doesn't work for me. I've lived most of my life winging it, and planning definitely works better for me as far as staying on track. The times when I have not been so much on my game, and admittedly 2020 was not ideal, but it's okay. It was still very, very good considering how it could have been. Looking back on it, wasn't organizing and planning my keto plan nearly as much as how I have been since I have started this January. I reflected on that and realized that that was a big part of why I wasn't moving ahead in the way that I had wanted to. So, you know what? Just taking stock of what works for you and what doesn't work for you, your happiness factor, your lifestyle, all that, and just being real about what it is that's going to help you move forward, but also work really good for your lifestyle. And I find for me, planning ahead really, really works. Sean says, hi from frigid Iowa, -7 and -29 wind chill. Oh, I don't know what that is in Celsius, but it's pretty cold here too. I think we're close, Sean, from what I saw you post. They're doing rolling blackouts to conserve power. I plan, but not enough. I know meals for the most part, just not which day. Yeah, well, that's kind of a bummer. If you have rolling blackouts, I saw something on TikTok where someone made a refrigerator out of snow on their deck. they built this little refrigerator, and they even had like shelves in it, and it was all made of snow, and it was actually for like a bar, and then they had their alcohol in it, but you probably could put some, other stuff in there. I don't know what. But you could also do, like I was talking earlier, Sean, I don't know if you heard it, but just doing your meal replacements. Like I do my bone broth and my collagen together, and I add MCT powder. They're all powders. And it's nice if you have almond milk, but it's really good with just water too. And then a little bit of stevia flavor drops. And literally what I just said is a meal replacement that needs no refrigeration. You can just take it to work in a shaker cup, dry. I always think just keep it dry, and then add the water and the flavor drops the stevia flavor drops when you're ready to drink it. Don't do it ahead of time, though some people say that they make it ahead of time. For me, I think it gets a little watery. I don't really like it. I like it really thick and frothy, so I do it ahead of time. But anyways, so you don't need any electricity for that, so that kind of works out. Anyways, you guys, okay. Well, that's what I want to talk about, and I think we got a nice little convo going here. Just wanted to pass on what we were talking about in the group today. There is a Motivational Monday post in the group. If you didn't read it, it goes into a bit more detail, and we can certainly continue on the conversation there. So you guys have a really nice evening. For those of you that are eating, enjoy your dinner. I am not eating today, and I'm excited to go up to my closet and do a nice little purge organizing. So I've been excited for that all day long. I do look forward to things like that. Anyways, you guys have a really great evening, and I will talk to you in the group. Okay, bye guys. Hey guys, before you go, hit the like and subscribe button if you haven't already, and hit the bell notification so you can be notified every time we have a new video posted. Also, down in the description, I will have links to everything that we talked about in our chat today, including information on how you can join my Intentionally Bare Keto support group. See you next time.